Generous.
Persistent.
Unique.
Optimistic.
Developer.
Original thinker.
Successful.
Renaissance.
Visionary.
Genius.
My impression of Mr. Carr was that he was the epitome of a business gentleman, committed not only to our industry but the community at large.
I thought I was in the presence of royalty.
The Oliver Carr Company was the premier Washington developer.
You don't run into a lot of people of his stature and accomplishment who are quite so laid back about it.
Oliver Carr is one of the few people I would shake a hand on. That'd be good enough for me.
We've never had a disagreement.
He is truly a remarkable person.
A lot of fun. Some cases rather exhausting, to say the least.
If he invites you for a beer, you might end up in Nepal, traversing a wet stone wall 3 levels up to get to the beer garden from your camp.
He's just a great guy to have as a friend.
Ollie is one of the most tenacious and creative people that I've ever met. He wants to change the world, is my sense of him.
Oliver is an entrepreneur through and through. When he sees a chance to create growth or something special, he jumps in with both feet and gives it his all. He's more of a poet in terms of what's the impact on the neighborhood, the community, the customer, and he elevates the discussion beyond just the dollars and cents. And it, I think, helped people to look at things a little bit differently.
Working with him is an opportunity. You get the best out of each other, and that spark makes something that is special.
Somebody that really understood real estate, obviously, but also understood and was really interested in great urban planning in a way to create very special places.
I think Oliver kind of subconsciously always had in his mind that we're building parts of cities here and let's do the absolute best we can.
I have very clear memories of the riots in the 60s. Downtown Washington was viewed as being dangerous. If you came close enough, you could see smoke billowing from neighborhoods at the center of the city.
Nobody else was thinking that at that point they'd invest in downtown Washington, but he moved right into it.
He was always optimistic and encouraged a lot of us to stay with Washington as a viable investment from a real estate standpoint.
It inspired confidence in the rest of the development and business community, so the impact was fantastic.
He was a real visionary in what was happening in the development of the city in a way that I think led Washington to being one of the premier investment destinations in the world. When Oliver started out, it was far from that.
The impact that Oliver's made in Washington is really unbelievable when you count the buildings that he's been involved in as a developer.
Ollie has transformed Connecticut Avenue and K Street, and he's been a major factor in the transformation of what is the East End, the Verizon Center, the 7th Street corridor.
He literally leapfrogged the White House in the late 70s to create the East End Market and Metropolitan Square, which heretofore was completely ignored by other developers in Washington, D.C.
And then International Square, which kind of anchors, you know, the Farragut metro stop downtown. It's a 1 million square foot iconic project right in the heart of the city.
I had left Washington, and when I came back about a year later, the Willard Hotel was closed. And I thought they were going to tear it down. And I thought, oh, isn't that a terrible thing, this extraordinary building? Well, of course, Ollie Carr had the same idea, except he did something about it.
I think the Willard is probably the culmination of this thinking about how to build blocks rather than how to build individual buildings.
in addition to revitalizing downtown, his very hands-on approach to philanthropy has made a huge difference.
He's always been at the forefront of trying to improve the community and, frankly, trying to help people who are not as able to help themselves.
The Bishop Walker School is a tuition-free school for boys in a part of the community that was dramatically underserved. We are the school that we are because of his initial investment. And not only did he make that initial investment, but he's a real collaborator in the school.
You get his advice as well as his treasure, and the advice, frankly, is sometimes worth even more.
I think Oliver really enjoyed being the head of the board at GW University.
I like to believe that his vision helped to change the city as well as the university at the same time.
Oliver Carr and the Carr family is the quintessential Washington real estate family.
And they've all embraced Oliver's vision for what Washington could be.
They think beyond the problem.
They have a lot of integrity, and they're terrific to work with.
Having that kind of leader to, learn from and follow in his footsteps was an amazing opportunity for me.
It's an incredible honor to have been part of it and to feel like as a family we've made a difference for the city that we really love.
So my dad is an iron horse. He's 91 years old. He's still innovating. He's still leading.
Well, he gets younger and younger with each year. It's a quite special thing. I think the doctors are going to start trying to figure it all out.
He is in phenomenal shape. When you talk to him, you'll realize he's smarter than you are.
And the best thing to describe him is the way my wife describes him. Why can't you look like him?
He's constantly striving personally to improve himself. So he has worked out for an hour every morning for his entire life. He has watched his eating, he has read, he has expanded himself constantly.
He plays a fair game of tennis. He is a rower.
Right down to racing at the head of the Charles in Boston, and was one of the top finishers. While he doesn't show it, there is iron under that gentle exterior.
I think Ollie's legacy will be of a generous person who helped revitalize the nation's capital, the capital of the free world, if you will.
He's a citizen in every sense of that word. I think the founding fathers would be proud to think that a man like Oliver Carr came to be a leader in their city.
I have literally never met a person of any station in life in this city who does not think fondly about Oliver Carr.
You can't walk around downtown DC and not see a building developed by Oliver Carr.
And he will go down in the annals of Washington as one of the great real estate minds of our time.
How wonderful for Washington. He's built a city, and he should be very proud of that, and that will be his legacy.
There are not very many people who really represent the best of what the real estate industry is about. And the Urban Land Institute itself stands for the creation of better cities and better environments for people.
He spent his entire life and career focused on building quality in DC and giving back to this community.
His name is so well respected. His contributions and accomplishments are legendary.
I was shocked to find out that Ollie hadn't already won this award. As far as I'm concerned, it's 30 or 40 years overdue. So I'm thrilled that he's finally getting it because I can't think of anyone who deserves it more.
I think he deserves all the awards. In the course of a lifetime, you don't run into a lot of people that are comparable to Oliver Carr in almost any aspect of their lives.
He earned it. He worked hard for it, and he deserves it. And it's an honor to be here this evening to honor this man.
There is no one in the history of Washington, D.C. real estate who has had a more profound impact on the city than Oliver Carr. And he deserves this more than any other person has ever received this award.